Merci beaucoup. Quand j'étais jeune, j'habite en Paris depuis 4 ans. Mais après, j'habite en Allemagne, et après, j'habite en Amérique, et après, j'habite en Hong Kong, en Taïwan, en Singapour. So, maintenant, j'ai oublié beaucoup de mon français, mais mon chinois, c'est mieux. Si vous avez des personnes ici qui écoutez le chinois, je peux parler avec vous, mais je pense que c'est mieux que je parle en anglais. So, I will speak in Chinese. So, thank you all for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. Congratulations, students. You look and feel very excited. I've just flown in from California, where people look a lot like you, very energetic. So congratulations to you all, and thank you for having me, Mr. Rocher and everybody. If I could, I'd like to start, I guess, in the beginning with my parents. You all have a lot to be grateful for. Your parents, you've come a long way. My parents were the same. They were very supportive, very hardworking, and my mother was very determined. And when I went to my first school as a first grader, I went to the regular school, the school for able-bodied people. And unfortunately, the principal said, "Gregory, we like you very much, but there's steps from the first to the second floor, and nobody's there to carry you up the stairs. So I'm sorry, but you cannot go to school in the regular school. You'll have to go to a school for people with disabilities." But I felt I didn't want to do that, and I asked my parents, and they insisted. They said, "Well, principal, if it's possible for Gregory to climb the steps, can he go to school here?" And he agreed, he acquiesced. So that summer, my father, he built some stairs just like those in our backyard. And all summer I practiced going up and down the stairs. And when fall came around and the semester began, I started at that school. And I think that's pretty much what's made the difference in the long run, is that not to be delayed or stopped or influenced by the doubts or perhaps the fears of other people. I learned a lot from my parents, and that was one of the stronger things I got. When I graduated from college, you might not have known what you were going to do next. I had no idea. I've often said going without knowing all the answers is a good thing. I had the choice to go into the Peace Corps and go to Marrakesh, Morocco, or go to Taiwan and study Chinese art. I turned right, I followed my heart, I followed my art, I went to Taiwan. And after a year program, I decided, well, I'm here in Asia, maybe I should go to China. So I went to China, and I thought I would spend the summer there. And I backpacked by myself for 2 months across China, and then I got to Tibet, and I wanted to go into Tibet. And after Tibet, well, Nepal was just next door. So I went over to the mountains into Nepal. And after 3 months of traveling, I thought, well, I could either go home or carry on, because I've never been to India, and that's just south. So I took a bus to India, and I traveled all over India for 9 months. Somewhere in the middle, I met a woman from Germany and fortunately had a friend to travel with. Together, we went to Pakistan for 2 months. And I'll tell you, a redhead German woman in Pakistan, in the mountains of Pakistan, I could tell you stories about that. But anyway, so Pakistan for 2 months, then back into China, across China, overland, back to Hong Kong, back to Taiwan. So 16 months after I left Taiwan, I returned to Taiwan. And I think that one of the things that I learned there was that we have to accept and live with and actually embrace ambiguity. Ambiguity is we're not always comfortable with that. We're not always sure what's going to happen, but we need to be strong enough to trust ourselves that we will do the right thing. We will make the right decisions when the time comes. I had a long career as a swimmer and as an athlete. 27 years, I did the Honolulu Marathon on crutches. I came in dead last. It took me 16 hours. I've done the Barcelona, Atlanta, and Sydney Paralympics. I swam and swam and swam, and I did the Ironman, which is quite a long race. And so I had a lot of time to think and to see and to learn. And I remember one of the Paralympics I went to, one of my first ones, I saw this young man swimming. And in the Paralympics, there's a classification system where people are given a number between 1 and 10. So a class 1 would be somebody without the use of their arms or their legs, a quadriplegic. A class 10 would be some of you tonight after you've had too much to drink. It'll be one of those things, you know. But to give you some perspective, I'm a class 6, so somewhere in the middle. And I remember I was watching a swim meet for the class 1s. And there was this young man He had a torso, and he had a head, and he had a thumb that stuck off of his stump here, where he wore his wedding ring. But that's all he had. He had no arms, and he had no legs. And he was helped by his assistant to the side of the pool in his wheelchair, and he gave him a little push, and, he kind of bobbed up and down in the water, something like that, And then, because he had no arms, he couldn't hold the side of the pool, and his assistant held him to the side of the pool. So when the gun went off, bang, he started swimming. And how did he swim, you might ask? Well, like a tadpole, just up and down, which is great. But it's 25 meters, and before you get to the end, you'll have to breathe sometime, you're right? So halfway through, he'd be swimming, and then suddenly it was like, he'd throw himself on his back and go back again and carry on and carry on. And he was going as fast as he can. He'd been training for years to go faster and faster, and every year he went faster. And you think about it, when he finished his race, what hit the wall first? His tête. I looked at that man and I thought many things, but one thing I've never forgotten. We all inherit many things. Maybe good family, good DNA, good looks, good clothes. We're given a lot of things along the way. But when I looked at that man, I realized none of that really matters. What really matters is what we do with what we do have. And I've never forgotten that, and I've appreciated that man for the last 30 plus years. Like you, I've had teachers and coaches and family and friends and mentors and people that have helped me, have served me in my life, have helped me to become stronger at who and what I am. I think I need to give back to those people. And I think you will give back to not just those people, but somewhere down the road, you'll know when and you'll know where, but you'll return the favor. You'll play it back. I always heard a very good saying, it's when you get to the penthouse, make sure you send the elevator back down. So you appreciate your people, and someday you'll give back too. I believe it's important for us to nurture not only our bodies and our minds, but our hearts. And I've been a painter all my life. I've been traveling around the world painting, but it feeds my heart. And I'm not suggesting and wanting all of you to become artists, but all of you have something that makes you strong inside. Maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're a chef, maybe you're a singer, maybe you're an athlete. But nurture those things. Don't forget those things as you race through the next 5, 10, 20 years of your life. Keep those things close to you. Maybe you can't be a full-time artist like I am, but you can still sing in the shower. You can still do those things that make you strong inside, because that will keep you going for the long run. Those things inside, that's where the real bank account is, putting investment into yourself. So down the road, when times get tough, you've got something to draw on. You've got something to take out because you put in. And I think another thing that nurtures our hearts is nature. I climbed a mountain in Canada long ago, and it took me all day, and I was using my crutches, and I got to the top of the mountain, and I looked over, and I saw some bighorn sheep. Wow, that's amazing. I've never been that close to these sheep. And I was about 100 meters away. And I thought, well, how close could I get to them? So I just started inching my way slowly towards them. 50 meters, 75 meters. They didn't move. They stayed there. I got within about 5 meters of them, and I was amazed. Then slowly, this big buck stood up, and he walked over to me, and I was frozen. I thought, either I'm in the worst or the best place in the world right now. He sniffed. He sniffed me. I'd forgotten to put on my cologne. He went to my crutches. He started to lick my crutches. He started to lick my hands. He was licking the salt from my long day of climbing. I've had a few magical moments in my life, but that was one of them. Being in nature where we can be still and where we can regenerate ourselves and we can reconnect with all the world. You know, life is kind of a marathon. It's a long one, and it takes a long time. And I think getting there slowly, one step at a time, is the only way I've learned how to do anything. I still walk to this day. I fall down. I cuss a little bit and I get back up again. We all have challenges. We all get stopped. We all have limitations. But if we take things one step at a time, not try to climb to the top of the mountain all at once, but just look at the next step. Where are you going tomorrow? Hopefully you're not hungover from tonight, but where are you going after tomorrow? So one little step at a time. I'd like to show you a little video here that connects with the nature and connects with what's next.
I think that having a disability, any kind of disability or any kind of challenge, forces you inadvertently or on purpose to appreciate what you have and to make everything count. Probably it's because as I was growing up, people always would assume that I couldn't walk to the supermarket or to the 7-Eleven to buy a Slurpee. They assumed it was too far. And I really wasn't interested in knowing what they assumed to be right or wrong. I just wanted to know how far it was so then I could make the decision on whether I could walk there or not. But I think the bigger disabilities are in our minds and in our hearts. And I think that if you have a desire, a dream, a passion for life or a job or a relationship or whatever that is, if you can pursue that and push that, then you succeed, no matter what your ability or disability is. Disabilities can at times be blessings in that they challenge us, they push us, they make us become more than we would otherwise be.
Disabilities and challenges can at times be blessings because they force us, they push us to be more than we could otherwise be. We're all challenged here. I just happen to have crutches and braces, and you can see mine. But we all have mental, emotional, physical challenges that maybe nobody knows about except you. We're all like that. We're all challenged. And it's really what we do with what we have that matters. How we overcome those. How we take that challenge and help it to help us move forward. I want to show you a last video of a friend of mine. Just don't try this at home. But I leave you this with all my congratulations and best wishes for you. Congratulations on being here. But So maybe some of you feel a little bit like that at this moment in time, but I wish you the best. And I leave you with that. What will you do with the gifts and the challenges you've been given? Thank you very much.